Batman. The best of times, the worst of times. Gotham City, New Jersey, December 2018. Winter was in Gotham City. It was cold, it was nasty, but the snowstorm subsided. The forecast called for partly cloudy skies for most of the week. Well, on the roof of the GCPD building, Commissioner Gordon was standing there, like always, the bat signal shining brightly into the sky as he was smoking a cigarette. Cigarettes always calm the commissioner. Even though he's tried a billion times to quit, he always relapses into smoking. As he was there taking puffs from his cigarette, he was waiting for his old friend, the Batman, to show up. And always the Batman shows up by scaring the crap out of him. But he was ready this time. He was ready. He was not going to let Batman scare the crap out of him. Sure enough, he hears the flapping of a cape in the wind. The commissioner turns around and looks at Batman, who was standing behind him quietly. And he says to Batman, "Well, Batman, old friend, I'm glad you made it on time, and this time you didn't scare me." Batman lets out a slight smile, and he says,
"You called, Commissioner?"
Gordon says, "Yes, old friend, I indeed did. I need your help very badly," said Gordon. "I need your help with a certain criminal kingpin. You know, I'm sure, about Pedro Santander." Batman says to the commissioner,
"Of course I do. I busted up a convoy of drugs that he had heading into Gotham City 2 weeks ago, and we've had a few clashes here and there over the years."
Then the commissioner says, "Well, Batman, I really need your help. Things are starting to get a little on the desperate side. We had a good, clear case building up against Santander. Now, one of our witnesses, a former mistress of his that was going to tell all, has disappeared about a couple days ago. We found her in an alleyway near Park Avenue." The commissioner went on to explain further to Batman. Well, the coroner's report showed that she was tortured, and we believed under torture she confessed to one of our undercover guys in his organization. He was found dead yesterday too, out in the Gotham River. Then Gordon goes on to explain, "That's where I need your help, Batman. I'm sure he has the evidence hidden somewhere that has everything we need to go against old Santander. But you have to find it. Plus, I need you to kind of tighten the noose around his neck. Get him nervous so he can start making mistakes. Then we can nail that son of a bitch," says the commissioner. Batman says to the commissioner just flatly and calmly,
"Okay."
Later on that night, in a section of the city called the Barrio, where a lot of Dominican immigrants live at, there is a bar called La Paraíso, which is Spanish for the Paradise. It was a big nightclub that was owned by Santander. It was also a clearinghouse for his numbers racket. Well, inside, it was your typical nightclub atmosphere, dancing, drinking, good food, and in the back room somewhere were his men doing the illegal numbers racket. As they were conducting the illegal lottery drawings, suddenly one of the men hears a commotion going outside in the main club. He tells the other guy, "Hey, Rodriguez, go check out what's going on. There sounds like there's a major fight out on the dance floor again." Rodriguez says, "I gotcha, Mendoza." Then the man named Rodriguez goes to the door that would lead out to the main nightclub. As he was about to open the door, suddenly the door flies open, hitting him in the face and knocking him out. The people turn around to look quickly at the scene. Then they see standing at the doorway like a giant grisly phantom, the Batman. Everybody freaks out and starts screaming and saying profanities in Spanish. They quickly reach for the guns, but suddenly Batman quickly throws smoke bombs and the entire room fills with smoke. Then Batman quickly makes his moves and beats up all the people inside the room. After it was over, Batman comes over to Mendoza. He picks up Mendoza by the collar of his shirt and he says to Mendoza,
Listen to me and listen to me good. Tell Santander if he doesn't turn himself in, every day is gonna cost him money, like tonight.
Then Batman lets go of Mendoza and he walks out of the room. He grabs his Batmobile communicator and he says into it,
Come.
all of a sudden, his Batmobile comes crashing through the front wall of the nightclub. Then Batman gets into the Batmobile and drives off. The next night, at a drug house in the barrio, another incident repeated itself as the Batmobile comes crashing through the wall of that drug house. The drug addicts freak out and run off. Batman exits the Batmobile. There were a few of the dealers and the guys who were making drugs in there at the makeshift lab that stayed there to try to fight Batman, but Batman made short work of them, and he grabs the one guy that was still standing and he gives him another stern warning.
You. Tell Santander to turn himself in, or tomorrow night I'm gonna hit another of his operations.
After delivering his threat, Batman proceeds to smash the drug lab. After trashing the drug lab, Batman walks off, but as he was leaving the room, he flings something behind him. It was small and it had a little red timer counting down. The guys in the drug lab saw it and quickly ran. As the device landed on the spilt chemicals all over the ground, the device began counting down. Soon the drug house was up in smokes. Meanwhile, in the high-rise apartment of Santander, Pedro Santander was screaming at his guys, I don't believe it, I don't believe it. That goddamn vigilante Batman is doing this to me. First he destroys my numbers, house, and nightclub, and now he destroys one of my drug houses. That's it. I want Batman dead at all cost, he says. One of his guys says, but boss, killing Batman's kind of hard because number one, you have to find him, and number two, if you do find him, you're lucky if you can escape walking after you encounter Batman. Santander says, I don't care. I want Batman found, and I want Batman dead. You get me? Dead. D-E-A-D. A couple days have passed, and of course, Santander's men were looking for Batman, but trying to find Batman in Gotham City is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. So they decided to set up a trap for him. They set up another numbers house in another Santander-owned business, a small seedy bar called El Sitio, which is Spanish for the place. Well, everything was ready. The trap was in place. Now it was time to lure Batman. They had spread word in the street that there was another numbers house in this bar. Sure enough, Batman took the bait. That night, the bar was busy like usual. Men were going in there drinking, talking crap. All of a sudden, Batman crashes through the skylight. Soon, Batman begins to kick butt, beating up all the guys in the bar. Suddenly, a bunch of Santander's men come running out armed with AR-15s. They begin to shoot at Batman. As they shoot at Batman, Batman quickly leaps behind the bar table and takes shelter as the bullets were destroying bottles, glasses, and hitting the table. Batman quickly pulls out from his utility belt a little pill. He bites down on it. Then he takes out several smoke grenades and throws them. They were tear gas, but not the normal variety of tear gas. These things were much more powerful, almost blinding, severely irritating to her breathe it in. And Batman, the pill he bit down on it was to make sure that it didn't affect him. Then Batman activates detective mode so he can see through the smoke and starts taking down the guys. Batman moves with stealth and takes down each man individually, one by one, as they were coughing and gagging from the powerful version of the tear gas. Soon there was one guy left standing, and Batman grabs him and interrogates him.
Okay, talk before I break every bone in your body.
The man said, No, 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 I'll talk. I'll talk. I'll talk. Batman gleaned from interrogating that goon that Santandel's men were now searching the apartment of the slain undercover cop, Charles Monroe. Batman made it to the apartment of Monroe on time, as detective mode revealed that there were men inside the apartment trashing it looking for the evidence. Well, Batman goes in and makes short work of the ones in the back rooms. The others had gathered around a safe behind a picture and were trying to crack the safe. Batman sneaks up and does a sleeper hold on two of the men. The man that was trying to crack the safe noticed it was too quiet all of a sudden. He turns around to see Batman was behind him. He says, "Oh, shh!" Before he can even say the word, Batman punched him hard in the stomach, and as he clenched his stomach and kneeled down, Batman kneed him in the face. Well, then Batman grabs the guy by the shirt collar and he says to him,
Tell Santander that I'm giving the evidence over to the commissioner, and tomorrow night I'm coming for him.
Then Batman violently flings the man across the room. Then he reaches for his utility belt and takes out some sort of small cutting device. The man looked in terror as Batman used the cutting device. It was a powerful laser that began cutting into the safe. After cutting the lock off, Batman opens the safe and he grabs the file folders and the USB sticks and leaves the apartment. The next morning, Commissioner Gordon comes into his office. He sees on his desk the stuff that Batman left, and Batman put a sticky note on the file folder with the words Merry Christmas written on it. Gordon opens the folder and sees all the evidence that the slain undercover cop had been collecting for several months. He lets out a big smile and he says in a loud whisper, "Thank you, old friend, thank you." Later that night, Batman was making good on his threat. He was looking from across a building at the apartment where Santander was staying at. He sees Santander sitting in his chair watching TV. It was Santander, or at least he thinks. Whoever sitting in the chair matched Santander's description. 64-year-old man, white beard, thinning white hair. Had to be him, but Batman's been in the game long enough. He knows a trap when he sees one. So Batman takes the zipline launcher and launches it across the chasm of buildings and ziplines across the chasm of buildings. Then Batman crashes through the sliding glass door. After Batman makes his entrance, Santander quickly gets up from his chair and pulls out an Uzi, and then several men run into the room armed with machine guns, and Santander says, Well, 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 Batman, you think you're going to put me behind bars? Oh no, you're not. You're going to die tonight, and I'm going to do the one thing that everyone has failed to do for the last 19 years. Kill the Batman. Batman slowly raises his hands up, but Santander quickly noticed that one of Batman's hands, namely his left hand, was clenched like he was holding something. And he says, Okay, Batman, drop it, whatever you have. So Batman does drop it, but it was a big mistake that Santander gave that order. For what Batman dropped was a weird, spherical-looking device. As it rolled on the ground and stopped rolling, all of a sudden, that ball let out a high-pitched squeal. Santander and his men quickly dropped their guns and covered their ears as that irritating noise was just penetrating and was disorienting. Batman quickly made short work of Santander's thugs. Then afterwards, he went after Santander, but Santander left the room. But before he left the room, he made sure he picked up his Uzi. So the pursuit happened. As Santander took the stairwell to the roof, Batman followed close behind, but Santander surely got to the roof first, and he waited for Batman. He had his Uzi ready, but Batman was no fool. He knew how to disarm a man armed with an Uzi. He was going to have him fire at him. Batman says to Santander hiding behind a chimney,
Over here.
Santander turns to the direction where the voice came from and opens fire. Well, the bullets hit the chimney, but Batman was not there. Then Batman says again,
I'm over here, Santander.
Then Santander does the same thing again, turns to the direction of voice and lets out another spray. Then Pedro Santander began giving a long-winded speech as he searched for Batman on the wintry roof, saying, Oh, you think, Batman, because I'm 64 years old, I'm a tired old man? Oh no, Batman, he says. I'm going to prove to you that I'm not. Yes, you may have struck me here and there along with this police commissioner, but I always rebuild, and I always take down the men who take me on. As Santander was yammering away with his speech, Batman was using his PDA. He had recalled reading on the back computer that Santander had a pacemaker. He was hidden, but he was still close enough to where he could hack Santander's pacemaker. Then Batman steps out behind Santander and he says to Santander,
I'm over here.
Then Santander quickly turns around to shoot Batman, but Batman quickly presses the button on his PDA. Suddenly, Santander felt a sudden illness coming over him. He began clutching his chest as his heart was slowing down. Santander was feeling really sick as his heart was slowing down. He was breaking out in cold sweat, and his skin had turned chalk white, and he was having difficulty breathing. He says to Batman, What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? Batman says to him,
I just hacked into your pacemaker and I'm slowing down your heart. Now give up, or else you're going to have a heart attack.
Said Batman to Santander, but Santander responded back, Me? Give up? Fuck you, Batman. I'd rather die. Then Batman says to Santander,
Is that really your final choice, Santander?
Then Batman proceeds to speed up Santander's heart rate. Then Santander drops his Uzi and he says, Okay, Batman, okay, I give up, I surrender. After he said that, then the police come bursting through the roof access door, running out with their guns drawn and shouting, Freeze, police! That was Batman's cue to leave. Batman leaves, and the police find Santander on his knees on the roof. The one leading the arrest was none other than Detective Harry Bullock, and he says, Well, Santander, look what we have here. I guess the freak got to you, huh? Then he lifts up Santander, puts him in handcuffs, and begins to read him his Miranda rights. Now Santander's behind prison, and he was going to face the rest of his life in jail. Like and subscribe. The end.